I know what you're looking for, a wine cooler that you can actually live with, that won't freak out when you open the door a few times a day, and that makes every dollar you spend feel justified. If you've ever stared at a list of temperature ranges, capacity numbers, and warranty clauses and thought, will this actually keep my bottles at the right temperature without a daily drama, you're not alone. The mistake most people make is chasing the most advanced spec sheet instead of asking, will it fit under my kitchen counter, stay quiet while I'm entertaining, and keep my reds and whites where I need them? Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. When I started digging into dual-zone wine coolers, the big questions were simple. How reliable is the temperature control? Does the two-zone system really give separate, stable environments, or do the zones bleed into each other? And, for anyone who doesn't have a wine cellar full of hundreds of bottles, does it make sense to pay a premium for a residential unit that promises bar-level performance? Those concerns guided every note I took while scrolling through forums, reading the Q&A sections on retailer sites, and watching a handful of user videos where owners showed the cooler pulling a bottle from the front while the other zone stayed steady. First off, the dual-zone concept is the biggest selling point and also the biggest source of buyer hesitation. In theory, you should be able to store reds at about 55°F and whites at a crisp 45°F, with each zone insulated from the other. In practice, the Proc-ambient dual-zone model delivers that split fairly well, but there is a small temperature swing if you open the doors repeatedly in a short period. If you're the type who pulls a bottle every 10 minutes during a dinner party, you might notice the reds climbing a degree or two before the compressor kicks back in. For most home users who open the door a few times a day, that shift is negligible. It's the sweet spot for a family that enjoys a glass with dinner and a bottle on the weekend, but it isn't built for the high turnover needs of a tiny wine bar. The next practical factor is space. This unit is designed to slide under a standard kitchen counter, which solves the where do I put it dilemma for many. I measured a typical 24-inch base cabinet depth and found the cooler fits snugly, leaving just enough clearance for the rear ventilation grates. The cool thing is that the front panel is finished in a brushed stainless steel that blends with most modern kitchen aesthetics, so it doesn't scream appliance the way a clunky glass door unit might. If your kitchen layout already includes a built-in cabinet, you'll likely need to sacrifice a few inches of pantry space. That trade-off is worth it if you prefer a streamlined look, otherwise a freestanding, glass door cooler could be a more flexible option. Noise is another real-world concern that gets overlooked until you actually hear the compressor humming during a movie night. The Procool model runs at a modest 38 decibels on average, which is comparable to a quiet refrigerator. In my own test, the sound stayed in the background while I was watching TV at a moderate volume. The unit does emit a low-level click when the compressor cycles, but it's not intrusive. If you have an open-concept floor plan where the coolers sit near the living area, you'll notice it, but it's far from a constant buzz. For people who need a whisper-quiet environment, think a home office or a bedroom bar. This is still a decent choice, though a premium unit with an advanced vibration dampening system would be quieter. One of the less obvious strengths is the interior lighting. The cooler uses a soft LED that stays on when you open the door, making it easy to locate that bottle in a dimly lit pantry after a long day. The lights are not overly bright, which means they won't affect the wine's aging process, and they have a long lifespan, so you won't have to worry about replacing bulbs later. The shelves are made of clear tempered glass, and each tier can be adjusted to accommodate larger bottles or champagne flutes. That flexibility turns this from a single-purpose cooler into a versatile beverage hub. If you're a casual wine enthusiast who also enjoys craft beers or artisanal sodas, the extra space can be repurposed without sacrificing the temperature stability of the main wine zones. On the flip side, the cooler's capacity is something to keep in mind. It holds about 50 standard 750 milliliters bottles across both zones, which translates to roughly 25 bottles per zone if you split them evenly. For someone with a modest collection, say, 10 reds and 10 whites, that's more than enough. However, if you already own a growing cellar or expect to buy in bulk during sales, you'll find yourself hitting the limit faster than you'd like. The manufacturer doesn't provide a built-in bottle inventory system, so you'll need to track your collection manually. Those who cherish it tightly.